All right, Ben, you're asking like, so this is rhetorical analysis, and it is.
I can only think of one. I can only think of hyperbole.
All right, yeah, and we can get into like what devices would you use, but so far as and it is still a meaningful question to, or at least exercise to be able to figure out what it is that you're looking at. When it comes to the prompts, you always want to check the verb. So when you see analyze, that lets you know you're going to be taking a look at rhetorical analysis. Mr. King? They did.
Really
Sorry.
BuzzFeed words. Impressive.
Wait, yeah, hold on. 2271.
Buzz pseudoscience.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Reflexology. Logos, ethos. This reminds me of
So if you see the word analyze, because remember your three options so far as the types of questions that are going to show up is rhetorical analysis, argument, and DRQ, which will have something like develop a position, defend, refute, qualify, and then synthesis is pretty easy to decipher because it's the one that's going to have all the sources. If there's any that you're going to make a mistake between, it would probably be rhetorical analysis and DRQ. The chances are actually probably getting slimmer, I would say, over the years, because the argument question is most likely not really going to have a passage along with it. They used to have one pretty frequently, but they've kind of gone away from it. But we have had situations where, like, say, on Friday we're going to do an AP exam TWA. I'll pass it out. Someone could be writing, and then you'll have that reaction 25 minutes in. I'm doing the wrong thing. I thought I was supposed to be making an argument out of this, or they were doing a rhetorical analysis for something like that Kundera passage that was done with that public-private life. So it still does happen that people will make the mistake. I would agree with you when it comes to what are the strategies that are getting utilized. It's probably not going to be the classical set, that if you just did the rhetorical analysis question for your independent reading book, those types of strategies that people are taking a look at probably won't be there. Keep in mind that this is nonfiction, and anything you do on the AP exam is nonfiction. Doesn't mean that they're going to be completely eliminated, but for the most part, motif, symbolism, those kinds of things that are more literary for a book, for a piece of fiction, you're probably not going to use here. Hyperbole definitely could get used in a lot of this stuff. When it comes to nonfiction, types of word choice, diction, various forms of syntax tend to be kind of popular, as well as then, depending on what's going on, could have some allusions, details, and all that kind of stuff. But this one, I think you are going to kind of start to do some of your own interpretations of what some devices would be. What do you think about the passage?
Yeah, I waffled.
I definitely waffled.
I like the part where they were like, what other, wait, I'm not find it. Just try to prove that they didn't kill me.
Down after like 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about like what the rhetorical device would be, but what are things that are getting incorporated in the passage where you can tell they are satirizing or making fun of the way that products are marketed. So yeah, Anna, you're talking about this part down here that we have. For 7 weeks, notice significant decrease in pain and can now walk comfortably. I just started taking some medicine this week. I think within 7 weeks my voice might come back.
It also says that it was released less than a week ago, and after wearing them for 7 weeks.
Why you gotta be paying attention to details like that?
Emily?
Whenever it says 5 forms of pseudoscience,
Okay. That's first column, right?
right in the first paragraph.
Come on. There we
What about a kilofreckle?
go. Just for clarification, what does pseudo mean?
Fake.
So fake science, not real science.
Real?
So we have pseudoscience, we have pseudoscientists, we have guy wearing a lab coat. So we got multiple things that are going to kind of start to align us with maybe not the most legitimate type of science. Dr. Wayne Frankel with his kilofrankles. Hey, if you're going to come up with a term,
That's pretty good. We'll put your name in there.
Tony,
I like the
kilo
semi.
swayzes.
Kilocalorie sounds better. It's the double constant.
I don't think we can go with a kilocalorie if we can't say Barbados.
Barbados.
Or Barbados. See, you messed it up so badly I can't even
I
recreate it.
like the semi-plausible medical technique known as reflexology.
It's over here, yeah. Semi-plausible reflexology.
Oh, this is funny.
What else?
Oh, the last thing, whenever the guy says, why should I pay $1,000 to have my spine realigned when I can just wear the things?
You've been cracking up
By
as
an
they break
intelligent
these
looking man
I'd
in
be.
a white
I'd
lab coat.
definitely be laughing if I was writing this. We should start it at the audience.
Well, and not, you know, when I can clearly wear, when I can wear these that are endorsed, and this would kind of go with that pseudoscientist, by an intelligent-looking man in a white lab coat.
Looking
So-
man.
Doesn't necessarily mean he still could be intelligent. And then you go with that closing line, Magnasols really seem like they're working. I don't know for sure, but after 7 weeks, really seems like they're doing a pretty nice job. I mean, we got to switch it, we're talking about here, but yeah, that idea's still going. What else? Reflexology, what would be some other, we
Pteronometry,
got pteronometry,
which is like Earth, because Terraria, I don't remember.
It's that Latin scholar.
Oh, restoring the there was restoring the foot's natural bioflow.
Yeah, your feet do not have a magnet.
This is
All right, so well, we got a couple things here. We're just because I'm already here. Only Magnasols utilize the healing power of crystals to re-stimulate dead foot cells with vibrational biofeedback, similar to which medicine makes people better. Similar to it. With the
Practice on
pteronometry, we have developed specially for integrated.
You're really just dragging.
I know. Products by some of the top pseudoscientists. And then, yeah, we have the whole thing with pteronometry and the kilofrankles. Sam, you were talking about this one, the biomatic field.
Yeah, and the isometrically aligned contour points. More than 200 isometrically aligned contour points.
With that little trademark right there.
Yeah.
Again, notice we have Dr. Arthur Bluhney, the pseudoscientist, who developed the product for masculine-based integrated products.
Reflexology is practicing the oxygen for a living.
What word did you just say?
Accident. Like accident.
It's like the occult.
I was going to say, is anyone familiar with?
Isn't that like, I know what the occult is.
No, it's not the occult.
The occult's cooler.
Are you familiar with the Occident?
I've heard it.
There actually is a university in California that's like, oh, I forget. I think it's like
Is it like
I think it's a performing arts film school.
You should go.
So
in California?
go to the college fair. I think it's like Pasadena area. Go to the college fair, get some information, come back to us.
I will put that word.
You could, you can separate the Earth into a couple of different categories. You know, where you're talking about like continents, hemispheres, all that kind of stuff. One part of the world they'll refer to as being the Occident. The other part of the world they'll refer to as being
The accident.
no. It begins with an O.
The opposite.
Ocean.
Kind of like Eastern and Western culture. Western culture is the Occident. Far East is the Orient.
Orient.
So if, and certainly this would have been, when this gets published in 1999, so not 2005 is the year of the exam, but 99 when it gets published. At that time, and I'd still say now, 20 years later, there was always been a big push for herbal remedies, things that have been going on for thousands of years in the Orient. Chinese acupuncture, this kind of remedy that would be going on. So it's kind of a play on, this has been going on for thousands of years in the Orient. Well, this has been going on for 11 years in Massillon, Ohio, so clearly there's a lot of,
Exact same thing.
yeah.
Is that a real place?
What's that?
Massillon, Ohio.
Yeah.
You should go.
It would be like,
A town of 400.
no, it's larger. It would kind of be similar to saying like Altoona, Pennsylvania, or Johnstown, PA. It's not. It's certainly not sprawling metropolis that folks in Iowa are going to be familiar with. But Massillon's a fairly decent size.
Tacoma, Washington.
A little bit below in Akron, Toledo, you know, in
Every place
Ohio.
in Ohio.
I know Ohio is
So-
really big on your
Ohio,
scale of
yeah.
stuff.
That in New Jersey.
No one mentioned it's a total foot rejuvenation system. I kind of like that one too.
That was funny. I giggled at
Sam,
that
this reminds me of
Who trumpets the new insoles and the contour points in line 18?
Scientific sounding.
Scientific sounding literature.
Trump.
All right, so as you take a look at it, can you certainly find Oh, we even mentioned what is the price?
1995.
You know it has to be $19.95 or 2 easy payments of $9.99 plus shipping and handling. Order now, we'll send you 2 pairs.
Several.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Wait, do we get 2 pairs or like 2 souls?
I don't know.
You get paid for that.
You have to buy it.
They also have a pun, which I appreciated.
Oh yeah,
Where
with
is
the 25.
Yeah.
Is that where you're looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioning souls reminded me of that one. The literature explains establishing a correspondence between every point on the human foot and another part of the body, enabling your souls to heal your entire body as you walk.
Pick up on that.
Maria, the nurse would like you to stop down at the end of first period.
They also mentioned something taking several new steps. Which I
So would that fall under pump?
I mean, you're talking about
Because you're talking about feet, yeah.
So you're taking steps.
So, alright, locating examples of way in which they are kind of making fun of the way that products are marketed to consumers, I don't think is going to be difficult. What can be a little bit tricky with this one is going, alright, how would you now categorize or label what's happening? There's no way that we're going to come up with a few terms that are going to highlight every single thing that we have highlighted on there. But what would be some types of terms that we could use to describe what we have in the examples that would correspond with?
Would you be able to say like synthetic diction, like words that they just came up with?
There's synthetic was the term? Yeah, that would work. So I think when it does come to something like this, and by no means criticizing the use of diction at all, but diction tends to be a common device that folks will go to because it's a little bit of a safety net. So we have diction that is getting utilized. The nice thing about synthetic is it has that scientific feel that goes along with it. So it certainly kind of fits what we have with our pseudo-science taking place. Any other terms to go along with diction besides synthetic? Again, not because synthetic's not going to work. Ironic? Yeah. Okay. And if you're dealing with satire, and I know, Ben, you mentioned hyperbole earlier. If you're dealing with satire, hyperbole or understatement, irony, humor, those are good places to kind of start if you're not sure what else to go with. Those can kind of be your building blocks. Emily, I should have asked you, when you said synthetic diction, which specific terms are kind of popping up for you?
Like the Kilo Frankels and the reflexology.
So like the made up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kilo Frankels, reflexology, contour points. If you use contour points, what do you have to include? TM.
Trademark.
Yep. You don't want to get sued for your AP exam, and things like that. Ironic diction, Ben. What?
I was looking at. I forget where it went. There's a lot.
It's okay.
There was
Wait
one
it
that
out.
was like better than proven effective methods or something.
Well, and I would certainly say, like, when you get to, where to go? Alternative to expensive forms of, like, traditional medicine.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, we would certainly have some irony kind of happening there. The one thing that you want to keep track of, if you are doing diction, we do want to try to identify like individual words. So the Kilo Frankels, the contour points, the reflexology, the pteronometry, all that stuff, those are good because we have individual terms that we could take a look at. And we'll get to, I know you're talking about imagery here, but advertising. what do they try to come up with to make you want to buy a product that would kind of tie into diction? Catchphrase?
You do quotes like what people are saying, but it's not just a shoe in.
Okay, so when you have this person here, DeAngelis, when you have Helen Kuhn of Edison, New Jersey, talking about it, when you have Dr. Wayne Frankel mentioning here, you're right, where you could say they use quotes. From a advertising or from a argument standpoint, what is being provided? We have testimonials. We have consumer testimonials to try to prove they did work. And then we also have more quote unquote authoritative expert testimonials that would be taking place. So, I'd say like law firm commercials are probably the best at this. You hear on the radio or TV, someone will be giving their story and Edgar Snyder and Associates or, whatever all the various huge law firms are out there. They'll talk about how they really helped them through it. They're giving you a testimonial. So we have,
Was they called ambulance chasers?
some people refer to them that way, yeah. Consumer and expert. Because what are some things, and maybe it's more, I don't know, as you get older you kind of do this, but if you're going to make a significant purchase, you're going to put down a fair amount of money on a Cinderella Lego castle. You read the reviews. Even if you don't purchase it from Amazon, go to Amazon, take a look at it, see what the little robot reviewers that aren't real people said about the project or the product that will then pull you in. So
What is it gonna say about the market?
I didn't look at the Barbie Dream House. We looked at the Magic Kingdom.
Whatever it
People were
is.
very happy with the Magic Kingdom.
You can't really go wrong. I mean, Lego's just a tried and true brand. You can't really go wrong.
Right. But if you're going to invest multiple hundreds of dollars, you're going to take a look at it. Because there's some Legos that, yes, you build, but then you can't really play with them. And when you got an 8-year-old, you better make sure this thing can circulate. We open them out of the box, we tear them apart. We're not saving this stuff. So, the idea that we want someone to tell us it's good before we use the product, the testimonials come in. The fact that it's, someone going, I twisted my ankle awful and 7 weeks later I now feel better, or just try to prove to me that these aren't working, or, Dr. Calario comes up with kilocalarios, which I don't know what in the world that's going to measure. It still sounds good to us, so we're going to do it. Catchphrases and, the contour points, you could certainly go with that, the synthetic diction. I was thinking of 2 words, BW. Second one, mean words. Buzzwords. We look for words that have some kind of significance to them. You could say jargon would probably be one that would be a little bit more AP, credible, worthy. But like buzzwords, we just look for terms that are going to pull us in that we start to associate with the product. So when you hear pteronometry, when you hear reflexology, when you hear about, contour points and all that kind of stuff, now it's making you think about the Magnasols. So testimonials could be something. Again, the synthetic diction would work, catchphrases, buzzwords, those would be terms that you could use to describe it as well. Anna, what were you thinking about with the imagery?
Just how I have to find it. Just the way that they describe the shoe. Kind of vague.
Like magnet redesigns.
Yeah, stuff like that, where they're using. Could it be scientific imagery?
It probably would depend, the Magna Grid design and all that kind of stuff is up here. It would probably depend upon what I'm already using as my other devices. If I was doing, say, the synthetic diction buzzwords or catchphrases, I probably wouldn't go back then to the Magna Grid design and try to use it as something else, because it's going to be pretty similar to this stuff that's getting used. I'm not saying this because I just read a 1984 independent reading essay that was terrible or anything like that. So let's start going, oh my goodness, I wrote this. Maybe. There we go. Sometimes with some books, people will pick devices that can overlap a little too much. So if Ben in his 1984 essay picks paradox, because there's some phrases that tend to be paradoxical. our party slogans?
Freedom is slavery.
War is peace and
Ignorance.
ignorance is
Free.
strength.
Not bliss.
Thank you.
That would be a way to
That's
kind of
sad.
put
Yeah,
your- that's
that's more his.
Some folks will take a look at that and write about how it's paradox, which it is, okay, because they contradict themselves. Basically, like using Tale of Two Cities, best of times, worst of times. What you wouldn't want to do is then in another paragraph write about how irony is also used, where they're like contrasting two ideas, where it basically comes across as the same argument that you were using for paradox. So if you ended up looking at the imagery to kind of like, you know, visualize how someone could be in a lot of terrible pain, and the Magna Grid design or the Kilofrankls and all the description that get used, the harmonic energy field rearranging the foot's naturally occurring atoms. Oh, we didn't even talk about comfortrons. That's the best word in the whole passage. Paying nuclei into pleasing comfortrons in line 51. You wouldn't want to go back and use that stuff as imagery after you have already talked about like the scientific kind of side stuff. If Katie was using testimonials, and so she mentions Frankel, Kuhn, and DeAngelis down at the bottom, and then she goes back and talks about where Ben was mentioning the irony where after 7 weeks, whether you have used Magnasols, Dr. Scholl's, you put a brick in your foot, you walk on seashells or little pebbles or absolutely nothing, you're probably going to be feeling better no matter what. You wouldn't want to use that same passage as irony. So there certainly would be nothing wrong. Ben using this as irony, Katie using this as testimonial, but you wouldn't want to double dip and go back to the same area twice. The tricky thing, and obviously we've highlighted, you know, pretty much the whole thing, but because I have all the squares and stuff for the testimonials on this side, you would, just like with a book, you would want to try to spread out your evidence as much as you can so that you're not pulling everything from the second column or the first paragraph or whatnot. But if I don't remember if it was Sam saying it or Ben or somebody else, forms of argument, what gets used? Like yesterday you were looking for this stuff, the ethos, the pathos, the logos, you know, Dr. Arthur Blooney, scientific, intelligent looking man, you know, wearing a lab coat. That whole idea about having just someone who is credible or quote unquote credible would be an idea that you could use as well. But again, I probably wouldn't use that with the testimonials because I'll probably be overlapping there too much as well. Stretch or
If we use like how we say that Dr. Wayne Frankel discovered the Kilofrankls and we're talking about like irony in that or the addiction in that, could we then also use the dog berries as a ethos or would that be
like using the other doctors or using, like I would say you could use Frankel as part of the ethos so long as I mention like the other ones that get included as well. I think at that point you would be okay. Because you're not like solely using, you know, lines 35 to 50 as where you're getting all of your evidence from. You said hyperbole initially.
Okay.
Do you remember what?
Didn't they say? What was it? Could you say like 32.805 like kilograms would be one? There's what is it? Naturally occurring atoms like there's one where they listed 200 isometrically aligned contour points, like all this kind of stuff. It would kind of tie into like the buzzwords and just stuff that makes you go.
If you gave this to someone,
Yeah.
would there be some people, assuming we take off that this is from the Onion, okay, we just give them a passage, would some people go, wow, 1995, I think I need that?
Yep.
Why?
Because we're salty.
Cheap, and we are gullible. So you could even kind of, you know, how do they satirize the way that products are marketed to consumers? People who make stupid products know that stupid people will be out there to buy it. Or at least people who are susceptible to buy it doesn't mean you're stupid just because you think Swift wants kids. So we're not calling your mom stupid. But you could certainly kind of play off that where you do these exaggerations, it sucks people in against their better judgment with it.
In line 29, it says that Magnasols go several steps further.
There's that pun that you were talking about.
Would that be hyperbole too, since it only says like it uses the first
Yeah, like, you know, and so the hyperbole, the exaggeration of what it can do, it's a total foot rejuvenation system. You know, that it's going to improve the soul, not only SOLE, but we're also going SOUL. Yeah, that would absolutely be stuff you can do. The two things I want you to take from this. One, some of the passages can sometimes be funny. And I think this would be one of them. And the other thing would be, just because you can't think of an AP literary vocab quiz type term to describe the language or the strategy or the intent that's getting used, doesn't mean you can't come up with a term to still describe what's happening. Catchphrases, synthetic diction, all of those things would work. You're still explaining how language is being manipulated in order to get a certain point across. And even something like details, you know, you could include the Kilafrankles, the 1995, we like to hear that kind of stuff. The pleasing comfortrons, you know, those would all be little things I think you could include as well.
So if we forget what like the actual literary term is, but we know like a synonym for it, do you think they would accept that?
The most important thing is have you identified an example and have you explained the impact of that example?
Okay.
So I think the easiest, like that we could all kind of relate to, Sam, what's anaphora?
Anaphora repeated a lot.
Where?
Like the end of the verse or something.
No, beginning of the sentence.
Oh.
Epistrophes at the end. So it's repetition at the end. He calls it anaphora, but he's still explaining the significance of how that repetition at the end plays a big impact.
Yeah.
It might hurt him a little bit, but he's gonna get the benefit of the doubt.
So like
You call it repetition, I call it anaphora, like where it's,
okay.
it is actual anaphora.
Yeah.
But your explanation of the significance, the impact of that repetition, you're gonna get a higher score. You still explain what's going on.
Yeah.
So like worst case scenario, say there's a type of repetition, you could call it repetition for syntax.
Yeah.
And as long as you're still
Like
explaining why it is important to what the author's trying to do.
Okay.
Maria, don't forget the
I might
stop
stop
down.
now, Greg.
See you later.
See you.
I signed a
Sam, start reading tonight.
Yeah, I guess I already did that thing.
Kate, start reading tonight. Like,
Kate, start reading tonight.
only 35 pages.
That's right.
Excuse me, I was Kate. I was reading the basics of speech book last night.